Today we're going to talk about why conversation is important, why conversation is especially challenging for our students with high-functioning autism, and how to help our students succeed in conversation with peers. Before we created the Conversation Club curriculum, lunchtimes tended to be pretty much silent at Ivy Mount, with very little interaction between students and their peers. We believed our students wanted to interact with each other, but simply didn't know how, just didn't have the skills. So in response to this, Conversation Club was developed by a team of Ivy Mount school authors. Conversation is possibly one of the most important ways in which humans interact with one another. It can be used to exchange information, discuss topics of mutual interest, give and receive instruction, constructive feedback and praise, and of course to develop deeper, more meaningful connections with the people we care about. For most typically developing children, the complex array of skills required for conversational competence develops automatically and without conscious effort or intervention. From the ability to initiate conversation, to the capacity for demonstrating engagement via eye gaze and other nonverbal means, taking turns, negotiating selection of topics and subtopics, asking and answering questions, monitoring and repairing conversational breakdowns, gauging conversational partners' interest levels, and adapting conversational behaviors accordingly. For many children with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, however, including those with higher functioning ASD, learning how to engage in spontaneous, unscripted conversation often remains maddeningly out of reach. These children require explicit instruction in conversation, and even then, few studies demonstrate really meaningful long-term gains. So why is this? For one thing, conversation requires second-by-second, in vivo analysis of contextual cues and the ability to quickly and flexibly respond to those cues. And unlike social niceties like greetings, introductions, or compliments, conversation really can't be scripted. Good conversation requires the ability to generate novel, context-appropriate remarks that are responsive to the situation as well as responsive to one's conversation partner. This is all part of what we refer to as social cognition, or the mental processes by which we make sense of and navigate our social worlds. As many of you know, due to brain-based differences, individuals on the autism spectrum experience significant social cognitive deficits. These include difficulties with perspective taking, or what Baron Cohen has described as an impaired theory of mind. Theory of mind helps us attribute mental states to ourselves and others, and to understand that our own beliefs and desires and knowledge can be different from others' beliefs, desires, and knowledge. Although research indicates that some children with high-functioning autism can learn to pass basic theory of mind tests, most continue to struggle with inferring peers' intentions, thoughts, and feelings on the basis of facial, prosodic, and other context clues. And of course, this ability to take someone else's perspective plays a key role in conversation. Ami Klin also has some interesting things to say about social cognitive deficits as they pertain to autism. He argues that individuals with autism lack a native ability to identify and focus on salient social stimuli, which makes it very difficult for them to respond quickly, flexibly, and appropriately to the ever-changing flow of social information that's produced during natural interactions. So again, precisely the skills that are required for successful conversation. And finally, it appears that individuals with autism process memories in ways that are qualitatively different from their typically developing peers. These differences make it more of a challenge for them to retrieve detailed information about themselves and others. Again, this type of deficit has a direct impact on conversation, because if memory is bad, then it's hard to come up with things to say, and it's also hard to respond in relevant ways to what your partner said during past or present conversations. Conversation Club offers a fun and innovative way to teach both the how and the why of conversation to kids with high-functioning autism and other social cognition challenges. First, Ivy Mount authors take a comprehensive approach to conversation instruction. In other words, we provide intensive, long-term instruction on each of the basic interrelated skills required to be a competent conversationalist. And second, Ivy Mount authors make sure that each of these activities includes a social cognitive component. This is because we believe it's important to help children with high-functioning autism really understand why conversation matters, and to nurture their ability to assess social situations and respond appropriately and flexibly, not just to recite scripts. Conversation Club is also unique in its multidisciplinary approach. The curriculum was created and tested by Ivy Mount staff from all different departments, including the social learning coordinator, program evaluator, a speech-language therapist, a mental health provider, an occupational therapist, and a classroom teacher. Working together, we were able to come up with a curriculum that takes into consideration the whole child. The Conversation Club is made up of 8 units, each following a predictable structure. Each unit begins with a story that introduces a new Conversation Club character who's used as an anchor for introducing the specific conversation skills being targeted, as well as a meaningful rationale for learning the skill.
I'd like to take a brief moment to introduce you to our very talented illustrator, who made the Conversation Club characters come alive through his very engaging illustrations. The stories are followed by a selection of activities and games designed to target the specific conversation skill. Conversation skills are gradually introduced over the course of the program, and club members should be given frequent opportunities to practice these new skills. It is important to note that although Conversation Club is designed as a sequential program, you should feel free to adapt the program, its pacing, and order of instruction based on the club members' unique set of strengths and needs. As part of the Conversation Club, students learn what conversation is and why it's important. They learn how to select a mutually agreeable conversation topic, how to maintain on-topic conversation over multiple turns, and how to use their eyes and ears to think about their conversation partner. They also learn how to repair simple conversation breakdowns, tricks for remembering what our conversation partner says, how to expand the depth and breadth of conversation, and how to bring all of these skills together when talking with their conversation partners. Here are a couple of activities that come straight out of the curriculum. Meet Paco the Parrot. Paco the Parrot is the club's helpful mascot. He helps club members use his favorite words to create complete and descriptive statements. A complete statement includes information that answers each of the WH words. A descriptive statement will use the WH words to share information that describes something. Club members practice generating and listening to complete and descriptive statements. As club members listen to the descriptive statements, they use the Paco graphic organizer to build it back up as they identify which information they do not have. Listening Lisa is masterful in helping Conversation Club members listen to what their partners are saying. She helps us identify important information or keywords. The keywords are the main idea of the statement, and they can be used to help club members generate follow-up questions. We use the conversation tracker to help us record the keywords found within each statement or question. The conversation tracker helps club members track the flow of the conversation. If club members get stuck, Paco's favorite words are listed at the bottom of the chart. One of the questions we are sometimes asked is, what do I do if my students are not motivated to be part of the Conversation Club? Don't forget that these students have been selected to be part of this club because they need the support in learning the skills necessary to carry on conversations. When something is hard, it's not likely to be seen as fun. This is where the reinforcement system becomes critically important. Initially, conversing may not be intrinsically rewarding for club members, so we need to identify something that's motivating. Instructors should make sure the external reinforcement opportunities are something highly motivating for their club members. Most importantly, have fun. These lessons are designed to be fun and engaging for you and the students. If there is a topic or a theme that is engaging to club members, capitalize on it. There is no reason to stick to our prescribed topics and activities. For example, in Unit 3, Lesson 3, club members ask WH questions to uncover the secret picture their partner is holding. If club members are interested in Star Wars, swap out our pictures for the Death Star and C-3PO. Another comment we sometimes hear from teachers is that club members can demonstrate these skills during lessons, but do not generalize them to other times of the day. We encourage teachers and parents to identify opportunities to connect Conversation Club language and skills to other times during the day, such as during lunch, while children are conversing, or use WH words to support comprehension in language arts. It's also okay to extend a lesson over more than one session. The Conversation Club is flexible, and pacing should be determined based on the needs of the club members. Instructors should feel free to repeat, skip, or modify a lesson based on the learning level of the club members. It's also important to know if students are making progress and when it's time to move on and teach the next conversation skill. The curriculum includes a progress monitoring sheet. This supports instructors in determining where club members' strengths and needs are and where to target instruction. At the beginning of each unit, instructors should familiarize themselves with the outcome objectives. This will provide them with a clear sense of the special skills they are addressing. Instructors will also want to look at club member behavior as they move through a lesson. What type of prompting is needed? Do club members require verbal or visual reminders to demonstrate these skills, or are they displaying them independently? Finally, instructors should identify special opportunities during the day when they would expect to see club members display key conversation behavior. Are they able to do so independently? Thinking through all of these questions will help instructors determine when it's time to move on. So one of the really exciting things about Conversation Club is that we've tested it repeatedly with students. We've measured their conversation skills prior to their participation in the club and compared this to their skill levels at the end of the program, and we found really substantial growth in a number of areas. For example, interactions with peers grew from an average of 7 interactions to an average of 77 interactions per lunch period. This is more than 10 times the number of interactions they were having prior to the Conversation Club. We've also seen significant growth in the number of questions asked, number of efforts to get their peers' attention, and the number of attempts to repair simple conversation breakdowns. So the club has yielded some really great stuff, and I think we're well on our way to establishing Conversation Club as a research-based practice.